to do the I'm So Annoyed book tag. This came to me by, read by Fred, who tagged me recently, and so I had just done I was just about to do a 25 questions one, so I wasn't sure I was going to get to this one right away, but I started thinking about it and kind of infected my head a little bit, so I am going to jump on that right now. Question number 1, publishers do things that annoy you. Right away, it was a long time ago when I saw the movie I, Robot. This starred Will Smith, and I go into the bookstore afterwards, and sure enough, sitting there is the novel I, Robot by Isaac Asimov that has a movie poster on the book. The I, Robot book and the film are two completely different things. Will Smith's face is on that book. He's not in the book. So if you're too far removed from the contents of the book, I suggest you just don't do that. I don't know how that, if that helps sales, I guess I don't blame you, but I don't see, it bothers the hell out of me. Have you ever been annoyed by a spoiler, even if it's something someone mentions like a plot twist? Not really. I'd rather go without, of course, just going in without anything, but I was spoiled for Return of the Jedi in 1983 because I couldn't resist reading the novelization because it had come out before. Siskel and Ebert in the 80s, you watch an episode of that and you're all but spoiled for the movie. So, matter of fact, for Star Wars Celebration 3 for Revenge of the Sith, there's this 10-minute, you can't hear dialogue, it's just music. 10 minutes of the film completely spoils you, but when you were done, you didn't care. So I'd rather not have them, but I don't get too bent out of shape over the matter. It's fine. Have you ever been annoyed what you find at a little free library, book sale, or used books? The only thing that ever bugged me was, let's say you buy a new book for like 30 bucks, and you wander into a used bookstore, and sure enough, it's sitting there for 15 bucks because somebody read it new and just, just trade it in. That's 15 bucks. When you're not, I wonder if I was rich, would I just give a damn? I remember reading a short story collection and got annoyed with a novel in the middle. I don't think so. I suppose I'd hate it if it just sucked. Otherwise, give me quality story and the length's not going to matter. One thing that jumped in my head on that was that in Ray Bradbury's The Illustrated Man, one of the short stories in here is called The Long Rain, but it's way longer than a lot of the other stories. However, it's actually really good, so it's just fine. Get a little more Illustrated Man in your life. That's really good. Little book recommendation. Deckled Edges, beautiful or annoying? Well, I only had one series that had them, and it didn't really bother me that much. That was the Red Knight by Miles Cameron. It's called the Trader Sun Cycle. There's 5 books. Probably should have only been 4. First book, really good. Second and third books are 2 of the best books I've ever read. Fourth book, really good. The 5th book was so bad and boring, by the time I got to the end, I don't care. I don't even know how it ended. So I don't know what happened there. But it's got Deckled Edges. Other people's annotations in used books or library books. I'm not... I've seen that a little bit. I was never really bothered. I was kind of curious who that person was and what notes they took, as long as it doesn't mess up some of the reading, and it's fine. I don't want too much graffiti, but what are you going to do? Question number 7. If there's a series or a collection of a certain kind of books and changes are made, does that annoy you, or are you okay with it? If I'm reading this, I guess the only thing I could think of was when I read Stephen King's The Stand, and pretty good, but it was like 900 pages long, and I didn't think it had to be that long. Then a couple years later, they put out a new edition, and it was 1,200 pages. Like, well, you didn't need the first 900. What did you release this for with the next another 300? I just didn't understand that. Do people really need that much more of it? Question 8, do the decisions of characters in novels ever annoy you? This didn't so much annoy me as anger me. So here we have the Illerthor by Stephen Donaldson. This is the second book in the Chronicles of Thomas Covenant the Unbeliever. I don't want to hit spoilers on you, so I'm going to tiptoe carefully here. Thomas Covenant is maybe one of the most complex characters ever written. He's trying to save his life. He doesn't think the world he's in is real. And he wants to basically betray everybody. People hate Thomas Covenant, but he has a reason for what he does. He's trying to save himself. But still his actions, like you talk about an anti-hero, he literally just, I refuse to be your hero. I don't think you're real. I'm trying to save me. And as this book goes along, he does have a relationship with this woman. I won't describe what that relationship is. And as it gets towards the end, he starts to manipulate her to try to take responsibilities that he should be taking. At one point, she throws herself at him, and in disgust, he hits her, he backhands her. And I was sitting at work reading this in a truck on a break, and I almost took this book and chucked it into the windshield. I'm like, oh, you gotta start being a hero, you gotta do something, you gotta help her. And turning the page, I didn't know what was going to happen. There's a little brief relief there, but make no mistake that here, the spoilers, I'm about to give you a little mild one if you want to skip ahead about 20 seconds. 3-act play. The second act play, usually you are left in a very bad place. And in this book, you are left in a very bad place. Second book. So going on here. Are you ever annoyed by how someone organizes their books? I was confused when I first read the question. I thought they were talking about their bookshelves. Do they mix science fiction and fantasy? Do they? I didn't know what it was. I think what it's supposed to be is the actual physical makeup of the book. If I'm reading that right, then I'm more of a short chapter, or at least have breaks in your chapter, because I want to, I guess, have a proper place to stop rather than just stick a bookmark at the top of the page and pick up where I left off, something like that. Share something bookish you find annoying. I understand why, because publishers probably don't want to spend the extra money, but when you go into a bookstore and you pick a book up, it's brand new, and you read the description, you look at that cover and you're like, oh, this is right up my alley. Oh, but it's a book 3. Well, let me see if there's a book 1 and 2, and there's not. Well, I maybe could look it up on my phone or something, but the point is right then and there, if I have my sights on that, there's a good chance if the book 1 or 2 is sitting there, I'll buy them. But if not, I don't know, I'm kind of done with it at that point, and maybe I'll come back to it, and maybe I won't. But you have a greater chance of getting my dollars if there's a book 1 and 2 to go with that book 3 sitting there. 11, tag people. In the previous one of these I did, rather than try to go through some tags, I actually just read off a bunch of names of channels I subscribe to, and it's a very long list. I went back this morning, I said, let me throw some actual tags in the description. I'll get a few names in there just to churn up some people doing something. This one, I'm going to do both. I'm going to read just a few names, and I'm going to tag them in the description. The first one is Emma's Books and Life. Benjamin's Book Club. I just subscribed to him the other day. I like his channel. One Mundane Man, and Dog-Eared Pages. And yes, she does have a doggy she shows off. And that's going to be it for me. This is a quick one. This shouldn't be too long. Not quite 10 minutes. Not too bad. Get a little something out in the middle of the week. That's it for me. I think I might do, I've seen the Girl Scout book tag. I like some of the questions in that, and I might give that a shot as I look over the questions a little deeper. That's it for right now. Thank you very much. I hope you have a great day.